Blessings, everyone. I was just on the most incredible drum journey with a beautiful soul, Betsy. And I had quite a few animals come forward that I have not worked with their medicine. And so Spirit was nudging, do the Spirit Animal Oracle tonight. So I literally have just left, and the energy is so strong. So I wanted to share that with everyone. First, I would like to say thank you to Source for allowing me to be a medium of light. And I ask the energies of all the spirit animals to please step forward and help me bring a message for our highest good. Thank you. And for me, I had an owl, a bear, wolf, which is great spirit for me, and the butterflies. So it was just incredible. I have not worked with bear or owl energy, so that was a new experience for me. The first shuffle is for Source, the second is for Spirit, and the third embodies soul. And just my guide was there, my grandfather, and there was a fire, and I was encouraged to breathe into the fire and exhale the smoke, that the fire was cleansing me and the smoke was releasing everything. And what was fascinating was that the bear came out of the fire. First was the owl, and it spread its wings. And then all these butterflies were going up and collecting under the wings of the owl that was just hovering above this raging fire with its wings open. And the bear was just kind of like standing tall with its head all the way back, pointing up. And the white wolf was walking behind me around the fire in a circle. It was really interesting. I have to kind of divulge into what that's meaning. And then, okay, so the card just fell out. Moose, wisdom. Let your head and mind reach to the stars. Yet keep your feet grounded on earth. Listen to the ancient wisdom in your soul. The ancestors speak through you. You know much. And so right away, Moose reminds us, because it's so large. It's such a beautiful, majestic creature. I know many people haven't had the chance to see one in person. I was lucky enough when I was further up north. And it never really captures the majesty and the vastness of this creature, especially when you see them with their antlers. Their antlers are just, it's so incredible to see it in person. And the moose moves very delicately and slow. It's not fussed by anything or anyone that's in its way. It's not usually a very aggressive animal except for when it's mating season. But what the message of the moose is bringing to us is that sometimes our energy is so big. The moose is a very large creature that grounds us. We can use our energy to expand and go into many worlds within worlds, or talk to our loved ones on the other side, or get guidance from our guides and angels and ancestors. But we also need to expand our energy and push that downward like tree roots. As massive as the moose is, it's very grounded. It's a creature that understands its gentle movements. It's navigating with these big antlers on the top of its head. The antlers work as like an antenna. It's sensory. And that's where we are when we expand our energy way above our head. We're expanding our aura and our energy bodies out so we can receive this information. But also we have to remember to ground that energy as well. Just like we have grounding rods when we have storms, the lightning hits the top of the grounding rod and goes right through into the earth. And this is what the moose is reminding us with. Along with this big energy that we're carrying, we also need to have that balance. Because if we're not grounded and we're taking all this energy, it's moving around inside of us, it's bouncing around, it can cause all kinds of chaos. And so this beautiful creature reminds us that being expanded and massive in our energetic field also means being very expanded into our grounding. And it's wise. It's very wise to know that our connection is like that. The moose is it's using these big antlers. Not only is it's fighting with them, but just like cats and dogs and all the other animals that have whiskers, they use them as sensory. If they're going to go into somewhere that's very small, think of that. You think of something like a cat. It goes into an area, and if its whiskers are getting scrunched, it knows that it's too compartmentalized, it's too squished, it won't go in there, it doesn't feel safe. They're very sensitive to that. And so the moose, with its large size, it has to navigate through everything. And that's what it's saying. To be aware of our energy when it's in that expanded state. Use the wisdom to be able to navigate with that. Because if we expand our energy without an intention, without keeping the energy protected and grounded, we can end up with chaos. And the first thing that they're bringing through, the guides are here, the ancestors as well, is they're talking about people who induce a Kundalini awakening. Now, I know that's the snake, but the moose is reminding us that being grounded is so important with that. If we come into the space where our Kundalini energy is rising, I mean, that can cause people to go completely sporadic. It can cause euphoria and psychosis if we're not grounded. So we have to be able to balance that. And that's something that Moose is saying. And although we are wise and we know so very much, it's in these expanded states as we're grounded and we're recognizing not only are we in all these different worlds, but we are soul having an experience. We can use what we've learned in these expanded states to help navigate us through. But we cannot replace the fact that we chose to have a human experience as a soul. I'm hearing the term spiritual shortcuts. We can't take spiritual shortcuts. We need to be like the moose and be very present and grounded in our world. That no matter how far we expand, we come back to this place and we use what we've understood on these journeys or in these expanded awarenesses. When we're connecting with our ancestors and our guides, we're getting signs, synchronicities, all of the things. It has to be applied here. It's not just knowledge. We could read a book. We could read a book on how to change an engine on a car. But wisdom, when they say that we're wise, is the experience of something. And it's always settled in the heart space. So if we've gone through something, we've experienced something, maybe we've gone through being homeless. They're reminding me of that. I've had that experience. That just because I have knowledge and I understood beforehand, before it was happening, what was going on, the wisdom came after I processed everything, especially after I processed it through my heart space. And that's something that they're very, very adamant coming through with, is that we're taking the knowledge, all of the things we've gathered, grounding into our earth space and grounding into our soul and our human experience. And we're taking all these lessons that we're having and all the expanded knowledge that we're gathering from expanded states and expanded awareness, and we're using it. Because what use is knowledge if we don't put it to any kind of use? And they're saying the greatest wisdom is experience that's been healed and processed. So even if we had a situation, I'll use myself again as the example, where we become homeless, even going through it was still knowledge. I was gathering information. Years later, it became wisdom, because I see how everything happened perfectly and what I did with that experience. I didn't, oh, woe is me and wear it as a badge. I took the opportunity to get a higher education, and it humbled me and it taught me what was most important. Sometimes you have to lose everything and start from scratch. And so all the knowledge that I gathered along the way on how to navigate through that, how to find affordable housing, how to balance my bills, my incomings with my outgoings, how to make a meal on $10 for a whole family. So the knowledge became wisdom, and wisdom, that stays with us forever. That's what we bring back with us. It's also processed through the heart space. So it's not a bunch of sporadic emotions, because wisdom isn't, well, I learned my lesson because that really hurt. The wisdom is understanding the whole process. It's the journey and being able to understand why. And so the Moose is bringing us into that space, that our ancestors are there to guide us. They have wisdom because they've been through the journey. They're in the higher realms now. And not only did they have a physical life, but they got to review it and see where they would have made different choices. And the Moose encourages us to call on them, call on the ancestors. Let them guide us through and nudge us a little bit to make better choices. And the ancient wisdom of the soul. I mean, we've had lifetimes, we know that. We can go up into our higher self and look into the Akashic records and just take all the information from lifetimes. But it truly doesn't turn into wisdom until we've processed that part of the journey, all the knowledge that came from it, and we've healed something, and we are secure in that space, and we understand definitively why it had to happen that way. So the energy is being pulled back. I thank you so much for allowing me to share this message with you. So just understand that if you happen to have Moose come into your awareness, whether it's a picture online or someone is talking about an experience, that this message would resonate with you, to think about what Moose stands for, what its message is, because it can be useful. Many blessings, and thank you, everyone.